So many worlds for Kingdom Hearts 3 have been revealed, so what are the very few that remain? The answer might surprise you. Or I guess answers. Hello, it's Kiba-G. You might have noticed that I've gotten a lot darker. That's because I just got back from a trip with a lot of sunshine, and today I get to geek out about my favorite game franchise with you, a fellow Kingdom Hearts fan, possibly. I'm not sure. If you aren't, then cool, thanks for watching. And today we're going to talk about the remaining worlds that have yet to be seen in Kingdom Hearts 3. And before we get into that though, this video actually got to get sponsored by this app called Amino. And it's pretty freaking cool. And I promise I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored by them. I've actually been using this and it is legitimately cool. The app does exactly what I try to do here, being establishing communities and various communities to join that are called Aminos with things like anime, games, and movies or whatever. And there's of course a Kingdom Hearts Amino where you can talk with fellow fans like myself with things like fan art or live chats to do with certain topics. And I like the polls thing, to which, as a matter of fact, I encourage you to join the Kingdom Hearts Amino. And if you find my name on there, then you'll see that I posted a poll having to do with the worlds that I mentioned in this video. So download Amino, which by the way is totally free. If you just want to try it out, it's totally free. It's in the description, down link there. Try it out, guys. I think it's really cool and you'll enjoy it. And without further ado though, let's get into what the poll is going to be about. We're going to really narrow this down and really narrow it down by trimming out a lot of possibilities with a few things. And before we do that, I should be putting on screen now a few of the math that I did that breaks down kind of like what each of the main playable Kingdom Hearts games had when it came to their Disney to original world ratios, which average out to a total of 11.5 worlds, with original worlds being around 45%. Now, the game has been confirmed to have the most worlds in the series, which would overcome Kingdom Hearts 2's 15, but yet it's gonna have less Disney worlds than Kingdom Hearts 2. And let's just be a little bit optimistic here, not too optimistic, but let's just say there's gonna be 16 worlds in this game, just one more than Kingdom Hearts 2. So with that rounded 31% ratio, with it being 16 total worlds, this would mean the ratio would be 11 Disney worlds and 5 originals. I personally find that a little bit too generous to the Disney side of things, but it's a very possible ratio because it is still less than the total amount of Disney worlds of Kingdom Hearts 2 and gives us the most originals we've seen since Birth by Sleep. I am gonna be a bit subjective here though and say it's gonna be 10 Disney and 6 original. And you'll find out why through this video.
I know, I wanna know.
Not to mention these number of worlds would really line up with the recent announcement of how long the game will be, which they said if you stick on the critical path, then you could beat the game between 40 and 50 hours. And that seems about right, like based off of previous games, and this is gonna be the biggest Kingdom Hearts. And if each world takes around 2.5 hours, which is how long Kingdom Hearts 0.2 takes to beat, depending on how you play it, then that math actually lines up too. So far we have 7 Disney worlds confirmed and 1 or 2 originals. I say 1 or 2 because we don't know for sure if Twilight Town and Mysterious Tower are gonna be separate worlds or not yet. At least I don't think so. Let me know if that's been proven wrong otherwise. So obviously let's talk about the Disney part of this because that's what peeps are super excited about for some reason. Like, people aren't really talking about the original worlds enough, I think. The other statement to keep in mind, and I think this might be important with the original stuff too, is that they've said that they want Nomura and his development team every world to be different, every world to feel very different than the rest, and nothing seems too repetitive. And with that in mind, we can kind of rule some stuff out. Olympus has this really mythical feel in Greek and ancient, and that might kind of go against Atlantis, but we'll get more into that in a bit with more reasons why Atlantis might not work. Monsters Inc. is a factory, to which I can't think of too many other things that might compete with that. However, it might also rule out Halloween Town coming back because monsters, so Frozen is a snow world, and that's just gonna stand on its own. I don't think there'll be there. Yeah, snow. Now, Tangled is a debated one. Tangled takes place in the woods, and there's gonna be a kingdom, of course, but it's mostly woods. This could possibly rule out Jungle Book. It could possibly. I'm sure people are gonna debate that, but I think it could because it'd be a little bit repetitive to get 2 green places, you know? Like, oh, one's a jungle, one's a woods, but they're both green. Heck, you even see Sora doing a swing like Tarzan with Rapunzel, so Toy Story brings the modern feel to it, as well as especially gives that feel of shrinking down. So shrinking down worlds like Princess and the Frog, which is definitely one a lot of people have mentioned, and also Bug's Life, which I don't think it's a possibility at all, but I think Princess and the Frog is a much more strong possibility. but I think this shrunken down feel kind of gets rid of that. Pirates of the Caribbean especially rules out Treasure Planet, which is very unfortunate because there's a lot of cult following for Treasure Planet and for it to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, but it'd just be repetitive to have 2 pirate worlds. And I think it also kind of rules out Atlantis alongside Olympus, because like Olympus has that ancient ruins thing and pirates will have water, so it's like, I don't think it'd work. Pirates would also potentially rule out Lilo and Stitch as like a water world, because it's like we're already on islands, so someday. And then finally, the world we haven't seen yet, Big Hero 6. Now, this world, it could really be a mixed bag about a point that I'm about to bring up. For now, just gonna say it's a city. First off, it's a city for a landscape, so purely speaking landscape, it's a city, as well as kind of like the characters being superheroes. So that totally rules out Incredibles, for sure. There's no way Incredibles could be in, because then that'd just be very repetitive. And a very big one that makes me a little bit sad, because I really wanted to go here, is Shibuya. That is not a Disney World, but I think it'd be a little bit repetitive to have a city, because, you know, Twilight Town's more of a town, whereas this is going to be more of a city. There's a very big difference between a town and a city, believe me. And I think Shibuya would be a little bit too repetitive, because that's totally a city landscape, so it'd be, yeah. Another ruling out factor we have to consider is minigame stuff, or like link summons. So for instance, Ratatouille, that's ruled out because that is confirmed to be a minigame where he helps you, and it seems like that'll be in Twilight Town and so on. And of course, Wreck-It Ralph is a link summon, which is super unfortunate because I really wanted that world. As well as Simba. Simba is a link summon, so that means we will not be returning to Pride Lands most likely. I believe all the link summons are characters from either we've met or we haven't met that are not going to make their way into the game. However, I would really love a Maui summon if that's possible, which is another factor to consider. Anything that came after Big Hero 6 is not going to be in the game, because they said, or at least most likely not going to be in the game, because they said Big Hero 6 was the last Disney World they decided on. So, unfortunately, a video I had about Zootopia and Moana are ruled out. That video, I was totally wrong, I guess. But then again, in that video, I say Chicken Little had a summon, so summons are a different subject. So, hopefully Maui. I would love a Maui summon, but that's a different subject. So with all that put down, that actually rules out a lot of freaking things, which is why I kind of want to do this, because it's really interesting to speculate, and that's why I want to know what your thoughts are, what you think could be in it after all those factors being considered. Here's something on the positive side to leave like more possibility though, that a lot of these worlds are going to have original stories. These worlds having original stories could really mean that even if they adapted the movie property, that doesn't mean that the world couldn't return or something, you know, like Big Hero 6 is going to have original story, Toy Story is going to have original story, and if you look carefully at the Monsters Inc. thing, they're gonna have original story too. It looks like it's gonna take place after the movie. Now, I have kind of 3 big possibilities that's really hard for me to decide between them, but I really feel that there has to be at least one big sci-fi world where it takes place in space, or it's like digital, whatever, like it's I feel like there is a big sci-fi world missing here, and that could be Big Hero 6 with its technology, but that doesn't feel what I'm getting at. And Star Wars is already ruled out. If you paid attention to past news, basically Nomura and his development team said that things that are not Disney original properties would take a lot of legal work to make work. So yeah, a sci-fi world could make a lot of sense with the plot as well, because if you pay attention to one of the trailers, there's a portion where they talk about getting data for Roxas, you know, and so maybe there is a world that they have to do that could be Disney original, since a lot of these Disney worlds seem to have a lot of plot relevant things contained in them. I do believe it's possible that Tron could come back, especially with the ending that Dream Drop Distance had. It's possible that we could come back to it, especially using Ansem's computer and so on. But I'm actually leaning towards something else. I think it could be possible that WALL-E could make its way into this slot if they did do a sci-fi based themed world. What did I just say? Because yeah, Sora, Donald, and Goofy could become robots, and they could be fighting alongside Eva or WALL-E or both, and there could be the junkyard, there'd be the ship, there could be potential space sequences. It could be a really neat world. I'm not sure how it would work super well, but I think it'd be a neat world. As to how it would work, I'm not sure, but I do think the potential's there to fight against like robots and stuff, and I think it'd be it could work. I'm gonna take a bit of a gamble here and say Disney Town. Well, or just a new Disney type of world, you know, similar to Disney Castle and Disney Town. We've been here a couple times and we haven't been able to fully explore it. Even though Birth by Sleep, it was a pretty neat world. We got to explore a lot of that, but I feel we didn't get to explore enough of the kingdom itself. Plot-wise, we could get the end to Maleficent and Pete's story, maybe get Minnie as one of these pure hearts and see Mickey go totally rage mode. And maybe the thing that brings everybody to Disney Castle, I truly believe at some point, 100 Acre Wood is going to be another Disney world that's like that side small world that we get to go to. It'd be really neat to see Merlin go into Disney Castle and he brings the book with him as well as Lee and Kyrie, and who knows, maybe there's something bigger about the book. Maybe it will leave a hint as to where the Foreteller's book is. I'm just saying. I say Winnie the Pooh because one, it would be a very different world. It would be a very, you know, there wouldn't be a world like it. But the reason I tie this in is because it would kind of bring a potential tie-in with Kyrie and Lee, where they're with Merlin at the time, and Merlin usually has the Winnie the Pooh book, so maybe this would be the conclusion to the trilogy of the Winnie the Pooh stories, and maybe you even go in there with Kyrie and Lee. That'd be a pretty cool idea, or even just Kyrie. Oh, please do that shit. Oh, that's a dope date. Whew! Shipping, man, shipping. So many subjects that I can't get into in this video. But yeah, I think that'd be a neat tie-in to see Kyrie and Lee with Merlin, and Merlin would have the book. And also, there's been a little few teases way back in the day that's like the voice actors potentially might have let loose out there in the game, and people found elements of 100 Acre Wood within 0.2, like its elements and stuff. There's little signs that say maybe it is in there. And again, this is really like hard because at this point, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I mean, to make things really different, I would love Aladdin to come back with Agrabah because that'd be like a desert map, and it's possible. Like, I think that'd be a great returning world, but I think they've overplayed it to death. I think they can tell some people are really worn out with Agrabah, so I don't think so. Now, the original worlds people don't care about as much, so I'm just gonna kind of breeze through this, but I do want to bring up an interesting theory. First, I'll get out of the way the obvious ones. You know, Twilight Town is confirmed, and I personally believe that Twilight Town will be fused with Mysterious Tower, similar to how it was with Kingdom Hearts 2. Everybody's mentioning this. I'll just start off with Kingdom Hearts. Everybody keeps saying Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts, and that's gonna be where the final battle is. I'm totally on board with that idea, and I will consider it as a pick for one of the 6 unconfirmed original worlds that's gonna blow our freaking minds. And I also have a very bold move saying, I don't think there's gonna be a Keyblade Graveyard. I think the Keyblade Graveyard will like be a cutscene or a cinematic, but it will take us to Kingdom Hearts, or the Keyblade Graveyard became Kingdom Hearts, and that's just a simple world like that. I think it'd be a neat idea. Or the graveyard is connected with Kingdom Hearts and that they're all part of one map, similar to Mysterious Tower and Twilight Town. I definitely think the Dark World is gonna come back. I think the Dark World is gonna come back. We see a cutscene with Riku and Mickey, and it might seem repetitive to a few since we especially had that in 0.2, but I still think there's a lot of this world that we have not seen and there's yet to explore. Next, yes, another obvious one that people keep saying is Castle Oblivion / the Land of Departure. This might be another 2-parter world where it becomes one and the same as you go through it and mesh with it. I think that'd be a neat idea as well, which is kind of interesting because if you look at these original worlds, they kind of are a blend of 2, but they're the same, if you get what I mean. This is where stuff is gonna happen that not many people have actually said yet, at least not too many that I've seen. But first off, the one that I do hear a select few saying this is Daybreak Town. Because Union Cross has been such a huge thing. It's been going on the past year or 2, and they're trying to have their own story. And plus, the 2.8 collection had the Blank Pages movie in it, that I'm sure will be involved with the plot as a whole in some way. But I think Daybreak Town will be the way to kind of help tie it together that the team have been developing. And it might be kind of a dark place too, because the town might be a bit destroyed and might be in ruins, and I don't know, it could be a dark place to be. But very big story developments happening there. That is 5, and I am going to go out of limb with just this one more and say that this is gonna be a totally original world that nobody knows. Nobody has said that yet. Nobody has assumed that there's just gonna be a world or two that we have never seen before, or it's a place that we've never gone, and it's a place that we have to go to. Nobody's thinking of that. So because of that, I can't really predict what it's gonna be, but I will make the prediction that we're gonna see a world we've never heard of or seen before. And that's what I want from the game, actually. That's an awesome idea. So if you lay out everything I said, this is basically what the list looks like if you look at it on screen. And I think this is very doable. I think this is very believable. I think this is very possible. But am I totally off base? Do you think I'm totally wrong about some things? Do you think that's a very good point that I made in some things? Leave me any and all thoughts that you have, because I'm very curious and I love to look at my comments and see what people have to say, and especially about this topic, because this is there's so few left. What can they do? Who knows? And before I direct you to the closing, we need to give a big shout out to the August patrons. These guys make this video possible. In fact, they influenced it by answering a poll I put on there, and that's what made this video happen. So, as well as, of course, a sponsor. But thank you so much, my patrons, my Super Saiyans. You guys are freaking awesome and make this possible. And if you want to join them and get more discussions like this, then consider joining. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and please leave me your thoughts about Kingdom Hearts, as well as check out my E3 reactions. I'll put them both down there because I blew up to both of those, especially Pirates, since that really made this discussion kind of spark in me. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Don't forget to leave your thoughts, and be geek, be proud, be awesome.